Hi, this is Andrea speaking from Kassel, Germany, and this is the second part of our mini-series Understanding Life Through Philosophy. The second big question: is life at the end fair? The answer to this question seems to be very obvious. No, not at all. If I compare myself when it comes to health, money, character, the way I look whatsoever, there are always people who are better off. So in that regard, life is not fair at all. But it's not that simple. So let's take the advice from philosophers how we can approach these questions. Plato: the worst form of injustice is pretended justice. So what Plato wants to say, if we are just, if we are fair, but we only pretend for a very particular goal, that is not truly justice. So the goal of justice has to be justice itself, not a particular goal that we want to achieve. Aristotle: man, when perfected, is the best of animals, but when separated from law and justice, he is the worst of all. So Aristotle wants to tell us that if justice or fairness is not the basis of what we do with our life, we can turn into very cruel beings. Justice being taken away, then what are kingdoms but great robberies? For what are robberies themselves for political kingdoms? St. Augustine reflects what happens if those who are in power are not guided by the idea of justice. They can turn the way they govern or what they do into what he says robberies themselves. Nothing ever outrages more than injustice, says Kant. All the other evils we endure are nothing compared to it. Immanuel Kant, as one of the first modern philosophers, understands the very subjective side of the question of fairness and justice. If there's injustice, we are deeply hurt. It does something to us. So we have to do something about it. Jean-Jacques Rousseau said, the more I enter myself, the more I read the words written in my soul. Be righteous and you will be happy. So Rousseau sees a correlation between righteousness, fairness, and happiness. Look into yourself. If you are guided by the idea of what you do is right, it gives you a kind of happiness. The one who destroys all these ideas again is Nietzsche. The doctrine, he says, of equality, but there is no more venomous poison in existence, for it appears to be preached by justice itself when it is actually the end of justice. So Nietzsche says justice is just misused by those who are in power. What they call justice is only an instrument to force their goals, their ideas on you. Albert Camus reflects the horrible events of the first part of the 20th century. He says absolute freedom mocks at justice. Absolute justice denies freedom. To be fruitful, the two ideas must find their limits in each other. So there's a limit for justice. There's a limit for freedom. If you go to an extreme, if you overreach, you will harm other people. Find the middle way. The most important philosopher of the 20th century who built up a theory of justice as fairness was John Rawls. And he said justice is the first virtue of social institutions, as truth is of systems of thought. So what Rawls refers to is that justice as fairness is the basis not of your personality or something in your private life, but of the social institutions that build the life for its citizens. Is life fair at the end? maybe we should turn or rephrase that question. Where can we encounter fairness? What can we do to make life more fair? What can we do that fairness is something that not only guide our personal life, but the social institutions we live in? Thanks for today, and we will see us again for the third part of our mini-series.